Rich Ohrnberger. Let's talk Lamar Jackson, MVP, who got together with some of his teammates for a workout at a local park in Florida yesterday. Lamar is gearing up for another monster year, looking for a repeat of last year's MVP season, which won't be easy. Nobody's won back-to-back MVPs since Peyton Manning more than a decade ago, and it's only happened 5 times ever. Peyton did it twice, joined by Brett Favre, Joe Montana, and Jim Brown. Now, that's a list. Rich, you like Lamar's chances to repeat as MVP?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this is the most entertaining man in football right now. Lamar Jackson is must-watch television. But besides that, he made significant exponential statistical improvement from year 1 to year 2. And he was asked to do a lot more. He was asked to prove us that he can keep a defense honest with his arm. He was able to do that. And also, think about this offseason. We're going to have an abbreviated offseason, which means that offenses aren't going to be able to gel as much. So the improvisers are going to reign supreme here this next NFL season. I can't wait to see what he pulls out of the hat. Marshall Yonder, the right guard, he's going to be a future Hall of Famer, but he retires. And while the rest of the league is also going to have some issues, again, with the shortened offseason to get their guys up front to gel, he's really going to thrive in that situation because he can extend play. He can obviously get outside the pocket and create. So I'm high on Lamar Jackson. I think he wins the MVP in 2020.
Whew. Man, you built a great case right there. But I got to disagree with you. Despite everything you said, which was accurate, you nailed it. The problem is not going to be Lamar Jackson's performance. It's going to be these damn voters with their narratives that they love to insert into performance. You're going to hear somebody who's older, like we saw with Drew Brees a couple years ago. Aaron Rodgers returning back to his greatest form, and at the age of 37, oh my God, or someone who's doing tremendous community service and playing well. And on top of that, you still got to deal with a Kyler Murray who's emerging, or Patrick Mahomes who's always going to be in the conversation. I don't trust the voters. I trust Lamar Jackson is finally going to hit the deep outside the numbers route. He's going to continue to evolve. He's going to be great. If this was merit-based, absolutely. But because the conversation has morphed into more of a likability following social media with the button of what you like, I think the voters are going to get this one wrong, and they're going to vote Lamar Jackson out of it.
Well, I mean, that's a fair point, and I completely agree with you that all MVP voting, and this isn't just in the NFL, this is in the NBA as well. It's a popularity contest. I mean, was Westbrook really the MVP that year, or was he the flavor of the year? You know, I mean, you could look at James Harden and talk the same way. Was he the most valuable player, or was he the most popular, right? LeBron James, to my eyes, many of the years other candidates won, was the league's MVP. But back to the NFL, we see these things happen as well. Occasionally you have an issue where a guy catches fire at the right time. He catches the voters' eyes at the right time, and he can really make a run. It's almost like a political campaign. And here we are talking about electors, right? You know, it really is an interesting point you raised. But again, greatness wins. And what I'm seeing with Lamar Jackson year over year is budding, building incredible greatness. And I cannot wait to see what he comes up with in 2020 and go a step further. Talk about offensive coordinator Greg Roman. The work that he's done curtailing an offense to Lamar Jackson. You got the chef in the kitchen with his sous chef for another year together. They're going to do some magnificent cooking.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And listen, defenses generally close down the gap on what people's success is after they have enough time to prepare for them. But in a conversation, I was on the phone with actually doing a Skype call with Ryan Kerrigan was on and was talking about Lamar Jackson as one of the guys that he felt it's just insane how amazing he's able to do the things that he does on the field. And it made me start thinking to myself, you know, you may be able to draw up the right defensive schemes and everything is what it's supposed to be in the practice, but you can't simulate what you're going to see Lamar Jackson do on Sunday. I don't care who you put. You can get your best receiver to run quarterback. You can get, your best running back to do it. But what it is that you're going to see on Sunday against a guy like Lamar Jackson, it's not going to be simulated available. So I still think that he has at least 1 to 2 more years before defenses figure him out in a way where you would say maybe he has to adjust or adapt to what the defenses are giving him. But we saw this with Mike Vick, and I think that Lamar Jackson is, if not just as good, maybe more electrifying than Mike Vick was, and they didn't catch up to him for a while.
Lamar Jackson or the field? I'm taking the field. It's not because of Lamar Jackson. It's because I have more opportunities over there. There are more storylines, and the pendulum must swing. MVP is a rotating trophy. If you think about it, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. LeBron James, even Michael Jordan, there were times you're like, who are they giving it to? And it's because they have to find something else of interest. They get bored with the same story like we all do. And now you're talking about a social media age. Don't forget, Peyton Manning did it in 2008. Right now in 2020, when every single throw will be analyzed and criticized, and then it will just live out there in cyberspace for everyone to digest to the point of normalcy. And then to the point of, we expect that, kind of getting bored with that. What's the new trick? And that's when it's going to open up an opportunity for someone else. We saw Russell Wilson have an amazing year last year, but he came into the conversation, and then they didn't want him to leave the conversation, even though he was performing himself out the conversation, because they hitched their wagon to that narrative. So we have to be very careful about the popularity element that is always a part of this conversation.